Hey guys, and welcome back to Nerdology Channel. I'm Mohamed, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Lenovo YOGA Tablet 2. Now this thing comes in two different OS versions. It comes with a Windows variation, and it also comes with Android. This is the Android version. It comes with Android 4.4 KitKat, and it's upgradable to Lollipop 5.0.1. There's no further updates, no update to 5.1.1 or Marshmallow or any other Android version after that. Unfortunately, Lenovo is pretty bad when it comes to OS updates. So this is as best as you're going to get out of the updates when it comes to this tablet. So let's look at the box a bit. This is the box of the tablet. I think it's really decently packaged. It's got nothing inside but a charger. And yeah, as for the specs, this comes with an Intel processor, a Z3 745 processor. That's a quad-core processor clocked at 1.86 gigahertz of speed. This thing is able to clock down at 1.33 gigahertz of speed, just in case if it needs to save up on the battery. It comes with a beautiful 8-inch Full HD IPS display. It's got 2 gigabytes of RAM, DDR3, and it comes with 16 gigabytes of storage, expandable via SD card, of course. And it's got Wi-Fi. And this particular model is the 830 LC. It comes with a SIM card slot. That means you can just use it as a phone. I've actually been able to make calls with it. You can actually use the data on it, which I think is a really nice touch. It comes with Android 4.4 KitKat, and the battery is a massive 6400 mAh battery. And yeah, that was it for the specs. It comes, of course, the color is in platinum, which I think is very attractive on this tablet. So here is the tablet, and as you can see, it's absolutely beautiful. It's got one of the biggest positives any tablet or any device can have: dual front-facing stereo speakers. Man, this is such a positive. You don't see many of those. I don't get it. Like, why don't developers just or manufacturers just put two big front-facing speakers in front of every phone and every tablet? It just makes sense. The sound goes straight to your face, not on the side. It just doesn't fire on the side. It doesn't fire backwards. It just fires to the front, which makes a lot of sense, and it sounds pretty good. And those, of course, those are actually really good speakers, although they lack a little bit on the bass side of things, but they're pretty good speakers. More on that later. Now, as you see, this thing is a bit odd in terms of design. It's pretty slim on the top, but it's pretty bulky on the bottom. And that's because this cylindrical shape on the bottom combines both a kickstand. There you go. It's got two modes. One for hanging it as a picture frame, and the other one as a kickstand for it to just kind of stand like this, which I think is pretty nice. You could use it in multiple profiles. You could use it like this. I think it's really just a fantastic design for a kickstand. Now, this kickstand is made out of aluminum, and it feels really, really sturdy. It's among really just the most well-made kickstands. It's just pure aluminum, and it just, you can hear it. It's really well made. The rest of the tablet, however, is made out of plastic. So it's kind of like this hybrid between plastic and aluminum. And it also combines a massive 6400 mAh battery all along this cylindrical shaped body. And that explains the a bit, of the odd design in this tablet. It's just, but I think it really looks attractive. This thing, the first time I actually saw it, I was like, wow, this thing is really odd. It looks a bit weird. It's thin on the top. It's thick on the bottom. I don't know. I like the way it is, and it's combined with a kickstand. I think it's really, really cool. On top, of course, has two front-facing speakers. So on the front, you get the display with no logos, no Lenovo, no big bulky Lenovo logo like most other manufacturers who just like to slap their logo on the front of the tablet. I don't see the purpose of that, but you know what? Lenovo does it right here. It's no logos on the front. And this tablet, fun fact, this is designed by Ashton Kutcher. Yes, the guy who showed up, the actor who showed up on 2.5 Men and Punk'd. Apparently, this comedian actor is actually able to design tablets, and also the man who is behind the role of Steve Jobs. Apparently, this guy has a bit of a knack for designing tablets. And I think he did a fantastic job on this one. I'm really surprised that he actually designed this tablet. So yeah, on the front you'd find the display. On the side you're going to find the 3.5 millimeter jack as well as the microphone. It's a single microphone, no noise canceling microphones. On the other side you're going to find a massive power button surrounded by a light rim that lights only in white. You can't customize it. You can't light it up in red or blue or green. It's non-customizable. It only lights up in white, as well as a volume button and a USB port. And that's it. You're not going to find anything else. So as for the construction of the tablet, it feels relatively light, although there's a bit of an uneven weight balancing on the tablet. It just feels heavy. When you're holding it like that, it's going to feel a little bit heavy on the top, so it's going to be a bit of a hand strain. But I say, yeah, the best position is holding the tablet like this because you carry most of the weight using your palms, which I think is really, really decent. It's a really sturdy and well-made tablet. I can actually hold it just fine. It's really comfortable to handle. Yeah, I think it's a really well-made tablet. And the combination, this hybrid combination between plastic as well as metal, I think it's a really good combo. It just feels kind of premium, as well as, you know, just the general mid-ranger, you know, characteristics of most, you know, mid-ranger phones. It's got plastic. So yeah, I think, yeah, if you're always kind of holding this metal bottom of the device, you're gonna feel it's, you know what, this thing is actually pretty fancy. And considering, yeah, this thing is a mid-ranger at $140, so yeah, getting metal on a device that costs this much is not a bad thing. Is not a bad thing at all. So yeah, and I do have one single negative about the construction. It's really, really well made, but the power button as well as the volume rocker, it just feels cheap. It really feels cheap. This feels clunky. It kind of moves all the way like this, and it just clicks really easily. There are times when I was just lifting the tablet and I clicked it by mistake, just kind of like lifting it with one hand, and boom, there you go, it opened. Yeah, and of course you will find the volume rockers to also be extremely mushy. You're not going to feel that, did I press the button? You're going to press it several times, and you're not really going to feel that you've pressed anything. It feels really mushy, and it just wiggles a lot. It's not really well made. Of course, I know they had to cut some corners considering the price, but yeah, those are the main negatives with the body, with the construction of this tablet. And also it flexes here and on the front, and it also flexes on the side. I don't know why, but yeah, this is, it's an odd thing. But however, it's a very well-made tablet. I think Lenovo knocked it out of the park with this one. It's really well made, and hey, it's cheap. Now, as for the display, this is a full HD display, IPS, and man, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. It's among the best displays I've seen. I've had straight comparisons against flagship phones. I've had it against a Sony flagship phone, the Sony Xperia Z2, against the HTC Desire Eye, and I think it's a bit of a fair comparison, since these devices have full HD displays as well, also IPS, and they've been released around the same window, which is 2014. So it kind of made sense for me to make direct comparisons. And I gotta be honest, this thing blows anything else out of the water. It's among the brightest displays I've ever seen. It's absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, at 50%, it just manages to blow everything out of the water. It just manages to be a lot brighter than any other display. Not to mention, it's really, really, really well balanced too. No exaggerated colors, no extra punchiness in the colors. The whites are absolute whites. I haven't really seen any kind of greenish hue on it, or bluish hue on it, or pinkish hue. It just looks absolutely fine. It's among the most well-made displays, and the sharpness is fantastic. Full HD on an 8-inch display that is that bright is absolutely fantastic. And the touch response, it's just amazing. This thing never missed a touch entry. It just looks absolutely fine, and it responds really, really well, really fast. It's amazing. Combined, of course, with the processor that works underneath this beast, yeah, you can find this thing to be really, really, really responsive. So next up is the performance. Now, this thing is a mid-ranger with a mid-ranger processing, but obviously I was a bit surprised. I was really caught off guard with the processing package on this tablet. Now, with an Intel processor at 1.86 gigahertz quad-core, you shouldn't expect the same level of performance from, say, a Snapdragon 801 or a Snapdragon 800, but surprisingly, this thing actually keeps up really, really well. Now, combined with the GPU, it's got a GPU of an Intel HD Gen 7. I've never seen or heard about this GPU before. It's an Intel HD Gen 7, and it does miracles. It really does. Mostly, the performance really shows up in the gaming aspect of things. It actually runs Asphalt 8, it runs Real Racing 3, it runs Modern Combat 5 without a hitch. This thing is actually runs Real Racing 3, which I don't have right now on the tablet to kind of like show you this game, how it runs, but it runs beautifully. It's the smoothest I've ever seen Real Racing 3 running on any single Android device I've seen. I've tested it on Snapdragon 801, I've tested it on Snapdragon 805. I've never seen this game running this smooth except on this tablet. It's just absolutely astounding. So yeah, the performance is amazing. The browsing is really, really good. Although there are sometimes, of course, some momentarily stutters, but that's due to the browser itself, not due to the tablet. But overall, as a package, this thing is fantastic. Let me show you a game here, just kind of like get a feel of how this thing feels and how the speakers, of course, sound, because this is a really, really massive pro for this tablet. It sounds amazing. Oh. Yeah, this happens with this game. It's a bit of a bug. Excuse me. Just sometimes this game just doesn't respond. I don't know why. It's a bit of a bug. But yeah, as you can see, the speakers are very, very loud. They're just among the most pleasing speakers I've heard in a very long time. These things can fill up a room. This is also a really fun game. I really like Attack of the Light. It's available on Google Play Store. You should pick it up. It's a pretty cool game. It's an RPG. I really like it. But yeah, the speakers are do like a bit of bass. If you're all into this bass and you're expecting a lot, the speakers to be bassy and sound like some of the Bluetooth speakers, you're gonna come out disappointed. But these things sound really great. They sound loud, sound clear.
It's a good day for a mission.
And yeah, as you can see, they sound, everything runs smooth. The games are running beautifully. I'm not going to bother showing like the benchmark for games. Maybe I'm going to show it in a separate video. But yeah, overall, this thing runs absolutely beautifully. So for the battery, which is a pretty important aspect of the tablet. Now, if you would buy this thing for the battery, expecting that a 6400 mAh battery would provide a lot of working hours and a lot of screen on time, sir, you would be wrong, because this thing, the problem is, sure, yeah, battery capacity counts a lot on any device, and it does a lot. It works really, really, like it's a very important factor on any device, on a phone or a tablet, but it can only go so much with a software that doesn't help it. As you can see, Huawei, for example, does a great job on controlling the processing as well as the software side of things. So their battery lives are usually really, really good, even if they're not using massive battery capacities. With Lenovo, it's a matter of optimization and, for that matter, the lack of it. There's just no optimization when it comes to the battery. So a 6400 mAh battery is just able to provide a decent time. I usually get about 4.5 hours or 5 hours of screen on time, which is decent. It's on par with some of the tablets in the same category, some of the Asus tablets, some of the Huawei tablets, with just 4,000 or 5,000 of mAh capacity, which is a shame. I expected a lot from the 6400 mAh battery, and I came out disappointed. It was average. It was an average battery, so don't expect much from this battery, and don't buy it for this tablet for this battery. Buy it as an overall package. Let's talk a little bit about the audio. Of course, I've talked a lot about the speakers. They're very loud. Don't expect the same level of performance as Bluetooth speakers, but I gotta talk about a little hidden gem on this tablet, which is this little beauty here, this 3.5 millimeter jack. Now, what it's got underneath is a phenomenal DAC unit, a Wolfson DAC unit, which is among the best DAC units available on the market. This thing exists on iPhones and iPads, and man, does it sound good. It's a really balanced DAC unit. really bassy. It's got really good levels of bass, really good levels of treble. It's just balanced across the board, and it's really, really loud. I've made several comparisons with HTC, Sony, and man, everything pales in comparison. HTC got close, I gotta be honest. HTC knocks it out of the park when it comes to audio with their internal amplifiers. But this thing, it's just able to pull ahead of some of the flagships. Just imagine a mid-ranger tablet with a $140 price point is able to beat some of the phones at the price point of $500 or $600, which is incredible. So yeah, the DAC unit is a Wolfson DAC unit. I usually keep it at 50% because it's so loud and the bass is fantastic. Just make sure to pick up a really decent set of headphones just to get the maximum effect out of these out of this DAC unit, just to really get the proper sound experience. But yeah, I gotta be honest, the audio experience here is a full package. Just top marks for the audio experience here. I think Lenovo again knocked it out of the park, even though Lenovo usually doesn't pay attention a lot to the audio. Their DAC units are extremely disappointing. I've had several mid-ranger phones from Lenovo, and they just didn't really come up to the challenge. They were extremely disappointing. They lacked bass, and they really didn't sound good. Volume and everything, they were bad, just outright bad. But here was an exception. I think Lenovo really brought out the big guns with this thing. Yeah, and of course, do mind the Dolby audio application. It's really, really important. It's kind of, you know, this tablet's right arm when it comes to audio. It's extremely important. It's just not an equalizer app. There is actually a detrimental effect to having Dolby audio. It's not some bloatware that you have. It's not something that you shouldn't really pay attention to, because this thing have a massive effect on the audio experience in this tablet. Now, if you use any of the already normal presets on the tablet, like the movie mode, the music mode, and the game mode, and the speech mode, you're gonna find it, you know, just average. You're not going to really be impressed by the DAC unit or the external speakers. You're going to come up, I don't know, you might be disappointed with how they sound, but you go into the application and you set the presets all the way up as high as you can and set it to this custom or manual equalizer. Just make sure to turn off the sound visualizer, the dialogue enhancer, as well as the volume lever. And you would be blown away. Just prepare to just, you know, for the sound experience to blow your socks off, because it's going to sound absolutely fantastic. It's almost going to double the performance when it comes to audio. So it's just not some bloatware. It's not a standard, you know, music application. This thing have an actually really, really noticeable effect on the audio experience in this tablet. So it's a really important application. And yeah, I love it. Overall, this tablet is really, really great. And so far, I have very little negative to say about it, except we're coming to the big part, the elephant in the room, which is the software. Now, this thing comes with Android 4.4 KitKat, which is a decent version, although inspired by iOS a lot. As you know, most Chinese OEMs are trying to rip off or copy iPhone for some reason. I don't know why, but they're just trying to copy iPhone. And it's just, it was decent. It was serviceable. On the top, you would find a notification shade with just the notifications. That was on the KitKat version. This is the Lollipop version. And on the bottom, you would find this really big notification drawer with a lot of quick settings and volume adjustments. So it was kind of like they separated both the notification shade and they separated the quick toggles. They just had, each of them had their own area, which I thought was a really nice move, but they removed the quick drawer, they removed the app drawer, which is a massive negative because it becomes a complete mess when you're trying to kind of like arrange the applications and everything. They had some customization on this version, like double tap to lock, which I guess any other launcher could do. It's not a problem, but you know, since this thing is expandable with almost 64 gigabytes of an SD card, you'd expect that it can move applications to the SD card. It can move games to the SD card. I mean, especially since a tablet is a multimedia consumption device, combined with the processing package underneath this hood, you'd expect, yeah, you know what? I want to play a lot of games, and I want to be able to move all the data, all the games to the SD card, and I just want to have as many games as I could just fit in on this tablet. But you know what? It doesn't. With the KitKat version, it appears to be that it's moving the applications to the SD card, but in fact, it's not. The only two games that were actually able to move, that I was actually able to move on the SD card, were Hearthstone and World of Tanks, and that was it. And after the update, for, to the Lollipop update, I was met with a sea of troubles. First off, it restarted every 5 minutes. There were applications that just outright crashed and didn't work, games. And there was a ridiculous level of SD card locking that just made it impossible to move any applications, except for one, World of Tanks, because it just somehow managed to find the data on the SD card. But every other application cannot be moved. So what you have left is 16 gigabytes of storage that you have to still manage in order to kind of have games on top of it. And of course, moving applications, moving any files from the internal memory to the SD card is going to become a huge pain in the butt. So do put that in mind. Not to mention that the Lollipop version is filled with bugs. It was draining the battery 15% overnight, which is absurd. Just imagine the battery draining 15% of a 6400 mAh battery overnight. I had to write a massive article on GSM Arena just to kind of like make a solid comparison between Lollipop and KitKat. And yeah, there's a lot of problems. So if you bought this tablet, please keep it on KitKat until they kind of find some solutions for it, because so far it is an absolute mess. But they've recently released an update that made it a bit usable. They removed this battery drainage bug, and it's kind of usable, but you still can't move the applications to the SD card. I really hope Lenovo redeems itself with releasing a really well-revised Android version of Marshmallow, because I'm really disappointed with Lenovo's software. It's just they don't care if you have any problems with the tablet. You know what, you bought the tablet. We already got your money, so there's no need to kind of like have support afterwards. You only get one major OS upgrade, which is really bad. Not to mention that it could be ill-revised, like this one single OS update that you've been begging for the last couple of years. It might be completely messed up. It might be completely ruined. It could completely just destroy your tablet if it actually wanted to, which is a bit of a problem. And no matter how much we complain on the Lenovo forums, there's very little attention that's paid to us. So I don't know. The one detrimental aspect of this amazing, otherwise incredible tablet is the software. It's a massive no-no for this tablet. That is, if you're going to get it on the KitKat version, on the Lollipop version. If you have it on the KitKat version, it's a fantastic experience. You're going to absolutely love it from top to bottom. This thing is a top-notch device. It really is. I was caught off guard. I was surprised with the Yoga tablet, surprised with the pricing, surprised with the specs, surprised with how this thing handled itself against the other mid-ranger tablets. So I got to be honest. Aside from the software problems, aside from some of the corner cutting, like the buttons and everything, yeah, this thing is an absolutely fantastic tablet. I'm extremely satisfied with this purchase. I'm kind of trying to living with the Lollipop nightmare that I have on this tablet right now. But overall, I'm really enjoying this tablet. I'm enjoying the responsiveness of it. I'm enjoying the speed, enjoying the audio. I think I'm just going to keep this tablet just for the audio experience, because the front-facing speakers and the exquisite DAC unit on the side, it's beautiful. So overall, yeah, I do recommend this tablet. Just keep it on KitKat. This is what the tablet is meant to have. Even then, it's not perfect. But yeah, it's a great tablet. It's worth the $140 price point. And yeah, that was it for the review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.